I found out I was pregnant the same night my father's shrine burned down. The flames lit up the entire village, orange and angry, licking at the sky like hungry tongues. I stood in my small room in the city, 300 miles away, phone pressed to my ear as my mother screamed through the crackling line. But I wasn't thinking about the fire. I was thinking about the test in my hand. 2 pink lines. And the man who put them there wore a white robe every Sunday. My name is Ada, and I destroyed a church without saying a single word. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where it started. 6 months before the fire, before the scandal, before everything fell apart like a house made of lies. I met Pastor James at the bus stop. Not at church. Not during some holy vigil or prayer meeting. At a dirty bus stop in Lagos, where the heat makes your clothes stick to your skin and the smell of roasted plantain mixes with exhaust fumes. I was 22, fresh out of university, jobless, and living in a cramped room in Surulere with 3 other girls. My phone had just died. I had no money for transport, and it was starting to rain. Need help? A voice said. I looked up. A man stood beside me, tall, dark-skinned, with kind eyes and an umbrella. He wasn't young, maybe 45, maybe more, but he had a calm about him. The kind that makes you feel safe without knowing why. My phone died, I said. I was supposed to meet someone. Where are you going? Ikeja. He smiled. That's where I'm headed. Come, let me drop you. I should have said no. A woman alone doesn't enter a stranger's car, especially in Lagos. But the rain was falling harder, and something about his face made me trust him. His car smelled like new leather and air freshener. Gospel music played softly from the speakers. He didn't ask too many questions, didn't try to touch me, didn't make strange jokes. He just drove. I'm James, he said as we approached Ikeja. Ada. Beautiful name. Are you Igbo? Yes. From Enugu. He nodded. I could tell. You have that fire in your eyes. I laughed. Fire? The kind that doesn't go out easily. When he dropped me off, he handed me a card. If you ever need anything, prayer, advice, maybe a job reference, call me. I'm a pastor. I looked at the card. Asterisk Pastor James Ojona. Senior Pastor, Glory Throne Ministry. Asterisk. I'd heard of that church. Big. Rich. Thousands of members. Thank you, I said, tucking the card into my bag. I didn't plan to call him. But 3 weeks later, when my landlord threatened to throw me out and none of my friends picked up their phones, I did. Pastor James didn't just help me. He saved me. He paid 2 months' rent, got me a job as a secretary in a member's company, invited me to church. I started attending Glory Throne every Sunday, sitting in the back, watching him preach with power and passion. His wife, Oziu, was always beside him on the platform, a quiet woman with tired eyes and a smile that never reached them. The church loved him. He prayed, people fell. He spoke, people wept. He was anointed, untouchable. And slowly, quietly, he became my friend. It started innocent. Lunch after service. Advice about my career. Bible verses sent to my phone at night. He checked on me when I was sick. Sent me money when I needed it. Treated me like a daughter. Except I wasn't his daughter. And the way he looked at me during our 4th lunch together told me everything. You're special, Ada, he said one evening. We were in his office at church alone. Service had ended hours ago. The building was quiet. Special how? I asked, though I already knew. He stood up, walked around his desk, and sat on the edge, close to me. Too close. You have a gift. A light. I see it every time I'm around you. Pastor. James, he corrected. When it's just us, call me James. My heart was pounding. Not from fear. From something worse. Excitement. I shouldn't be here, I whispered. Why not? Because you're married. Because you're my pastor. Because this is wrong. He reached out and touched my hand. His fingers were warm. "Nothing about you is wrong," he said softly. "God brought you into my life for a reason. I should have left. I should have run. But I didn't.
Because part of me wanted this.
Wanted him. Wanted to be seen. Wanted. Chosen by someone powerful. Someone important. I was lonely. Tired. Broken from years of struggling. And he made me feel like I mattered. So when he leaned in and kissed me, I kissed him back. It happened fast after that. Stolen moments in his office. Late-night calls when his wife was asleep. Hotel rooms on the outskirts of town where no one knew us. He told me he loved me. Told me his marriage was dead. Told me Oziu didn't understand him anymore. I believed him. Or maybe I just wanted to. For 3 months, I was his secret. His refuge.
His sin.
And I was happy. Until the day I realized my period was late. I took the test alone in a public bathroom at a mall. Positive. I stared at the 2 pink lines until my vision blurred. My hands shook. My chest felt tight. I was pregnant. With a pastor's baby. A married pastor's baby. I called him immediately. "James, I need to see you."
Now.
"I'm in a meeting, Ada. Can it wait?"
No.
Something in my voice made him pause. "Okay. Meet me at the usual place in an hour." The hotel room felt smaller than before. The walls seemed to close in as I sat on the edge of the bed, waiting. When James walked in, he was smiling until he saw my face. "What's wrong?" I handed him the test. The smile died. He stared at it for a long time, saying nothing. Then he sat down beside me, rubbing his face with both hands. "Are you sure?" "Yes." "How far along?" "I don't know. Maybe 6 weeks." Silence. "We'll handle it," he finally said. "Handle it how?" He looked at me. "There are doctors. Private ones. It'll be quick. No one will know." My stomach turned. "You want me to kill it?" "Ada, don't say it like that. That's what you're asking me to do." "Keep your voice down," he hissed, glancing toward the door. I stood up, shaking. "I thought you loved me." "I do." "Then why does this feel like you're throwing me away?" "I'm not. But I have a church, Ada. A reputation. A family. If this comes out, everything I've built will collapse." "So, I'm the problem." "That's not what I said." "Then what are you saying, James?" He stood, grabbing my shoulders. "I'm saying we need to be smart. We can fix this quietly. Then we move on." I stared at him. The man I thought I knew. The man who made me feel special. He wasn't special. He was scared. "I need time to think," I whispered. "Don't take too long." I didn't go back to him. Instead, I went home. To Enugu. To my mother's small house at the edge of the village where the forest starts and the old gods still whisper. My father had been the village priest. Not a Christian priest, a traditional one. He tended the shrine in the forest, made sacrifices to the ancestors, kept the balance between the living and the dead. When he was alive, people feared him, respected him. When he died 2 years ago, my mother locked the shrine and never went back. But I felt it the moment I arrived. A pull. A hum beneath my skin. The shrine was calling me. "You're pregnant," my mother said the morning after I arrived. I froze. "How did you know?" She didn't look up from the yam she was peeling. "I'm your mother." "I know, Mama." "Who is the father?" I couldn't answer. She set down the knife and looked at me with sad, knowing eyes. "A married man." "How did you?" "Because you came home instead of staying with him. That means he's not free." Tears spilled down my cheeks. "I don't know what to do." She stood, wiping her hands on her wrapper, and pulled me into her arms. "You come from a long line of women who do not break," she whispered. "Your grandmother. Your great-grandmother.
Me.
We survive." And so will you. But the shame. The shame is not yours alone to carry. The man made a choice too. Let him carry his own weight. That night, I dreamed of the shrine, of my father standing among the trees, holding a burning torch. Ada, he said, you carry more than a child. You carry power. Use it. I woke up sweating, my phone buzzing beside me. A text from James. Asterisk, we need to talk. Please, asterisk. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I turned off my phone. I stayed in the village for 2 weeks. My mother fed me, prayed over me, didn't ask questions. But every night, I dreamed of the shrine, of fire, of judgment, and of a reckoning that was coming whether I called it or not. On the 14th night, the shrine burned. My mother called me outside, her face pale in the moonlight. We stood together, watching the flames devour the trees, the altar, the carved statues of the gods. What does this mean? I whispered. She didn't answer, but I knew. The old powers were waking up, and they were angry. I returned to Lagos the next day. James had called 27 times, sent 40 texts, each one more desperate than the last. I didn't respond. Instead, I went to church that Sunday, sat in the front row, and waited. When Pastor James walked onto the platform, his eyes found mine immediately. He stumbled mid-step. The congregation didn't notice. They were already clapping, shouting, worshiping. But I saw the fear in his face, and I smiled. After service, he pulled me into his office. Why are you here? He demanded. I came to worship. Ada, please. We need to talk about this properly. About what? The baby you want me to kill? He flinched. I never said kill. You said handle it. Same thing. I was scared. I made a mistake. You've made a lot of mistakes, James. He knelt in front of me, grabbing my hands. Please. I'll do anything. Just don't destroy me. I looked down at him. This powerful man. This anointed pastor. On his knees. I'm keeping the baby, I said quietly. His face went pale. Ada. And if you try to deny it, I'll make sure everyone knows the truth. He stood slowly, anger replacing fear. You think anyone will believe you? A broke girl with no proof? I pulled out my phone and played a recording. His voice filled the room. I love you, Ada. You're everything to me. If Oziu ever found out. His face turned gray. How many more do you think I have? I asked. He said nothing. I'll give you a choice, I continued. You can confess to your wife and your church, or I'll do it for you. You're evil, he whispered. No, I said, standing. I'm just done being your secret. I walked out of his office and never looked back. 2 days later, rumors started spreading through the church. Whispers, glances, hushed conversations that stopped when I entered a room. Someone had seen us together. Someone else had heard things. The truth was leaking out, and Pastor James was running out of time. But what he didn't know, what no one knew, was that I wasn't acting alone anymore. The dreams had returned. My father's voice, clearer now. Asterisk, let the fire burn, Ada. Let it all burn. Asterisk. And deep in my belly, where a baby was growing, I felt something else growing too. Something old, something patient. Something that had been waiting for this moment for generations. The church elders called a meeting. I wasn't invited, but I heard about it anyway. Pastor James's secretary, Sister Grace, was my friend, or at least, she thought she was. She whispered it to me after midweek service, her eyes wide with worry. They're asking questions, Ada, about you and Pastor. What kind of questions? If you've been seen together. If there's, anything going on. I kept my face calm. What did you tell them? Nothing. I don't know anything.
She paused.
But Ada, if there's something you need to tell me. There's nothing, I said firmly. Just rumors. You know how people talk. She nodded, but her eyes said she didn't believe me.
Good.
Let the doubt spread. Let it grow like mold in dark corners. Pastor James avoided me completely now. When I came to church, he looked past me. When I tried to approach him, he disappeared into crowds of members. His assistant started screening his calls. But his wife noticed me. Ozu, the quiet woman with tired eyes. She watched me from the platform during service, her gaze slow and measuring. Not angry, not suspicious. Just aware. One Sunday, she walked up to me after service. Ada, right? My heart jumped. Yes, Ma. You're new here. How are you finding the church? It's been good, Ma. Very good. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. My husband mentioned you before. Said you're a nice girl. Hardworking. He's been very kind to me. He's kind to everyone. She tilted her head slightly. You know, I've been married to him for 20 years. I've seen many young women come through these doors. Beautiful, ambitious, full of dreams. I said nothing. Some of them fall in love with the attention he gives them. They think it means something special. She leaned closer, her voice dropping. But it never does. He's a man of God, but he's still just a man. And men make mistakes. My throat tightened. I don't understand, Ma. Yes, you do. Her smile sharpened. Stay away from my husband, Ada. Whatever game you're playing, end it now. Before you get hurt. She walked away before I could respond, and my hands were shaking. She knew. Maybe not everything, but enough. And she'd just declared war. That night, I got a call from an unknown number. Ada, a male voice said. Who is this? My name is Samuel. I'm one of the church elders. We need to talk. My pulse quickened. About what? Not over the phone. Can you meet me tomorrow? There's a restaurant in Acadia, Mama Cass. Do you know it? Yes.
Good.
2:00. Come alone. He hung up. I sat on my bed, staring at the phone. This was it. The moment everything shifted from whispers to confrontation. I could run, disappear, go back to the village and raise this baby in silence. Or I could show up and face them. I thought of my father's voice in my dreams. Let the fire burn. I would show up. Elder Samuel was a short man with round glasses and a serious face. He sat across from me at Mama Cass, sipping Maltina, his eyes never leaving mine. Thank you for coming, he said. You didn't give me much choice. True. He set down his drink. I'll be direct. There are rumors circulating about you and Pastor James. We need to know if they're true. What rumors? That you've been seeing each other. Privately. We're friends. He's mentored me. Mentorship doesn't usually happen in hotel rooms, Ada. My stomach dropped. I don't know what you're talking about. He pulled out his phone and turned it toward me. A photo. Blurry but clear enough. Me and James entering a hotel together. 3 months ago. We have more, Samuel said quietly. Text messages from members who've seen things. Testimonies from hotel staff. Pastor James has been very careless. I couldn't speak. Now, Samuel continued, the church has worked very hard to build its reputation. We've invested millions in outreach, programs, charity. We can't let one man's weakness destroy that. So, what do you want from me? We want you to disappear. I blinked. What? Leave Lagos. Go back to your village. We'll give you money, enough to start over somewhere else. Quietly. But you need to leave now and never speak about this again. And if I don't, his expression hardened. Then we'll make sure everyone knows exactly who you are. A blackmailer. A seductress. A girl who tried to trap a man of God for money. We have lawyers, Ada. Resources. You have nothing. I felt heat rising in my chest. Not fear. Anger. I'm pregnant, I said. He froze. With Pastor James's baby. And I'm not going anywhere. Samuel's face turned pale. He stood abruptly, knocking over his drink. You're lying. Am I? If you're trying to extort this church. I don't want your money, I said coldly. I want the truth to come out. You have no idea what you're doing. Yes, I do. He leaned down, his voice low and dangerous. You'll regret this, Ada. I promise you. I stood up, meeting his eyes. So will he. The next Sunday, everything exploded. I arrived early and sat in the front row again. The church was packed, over 3,000 people. Cameras filming for the live stream. The praise team warming up. And then Pastor James walked out. The crowd erupted in applause. He smiled, waving confident. But when his eyes found mine, the smile faltered. I placed my hand on my stomach and stared at him. He looked away. The service started. Worship. Announcements. Offering. Everything normal. Then came the sermon. Pastor James stood at the pulpit, Bible open, and began to preach about forgiveness. About how God's grace covers all sins. About how no one is beyond redemption. The irony was suffocating. Halfway through his message, a woman stood up in the back. Pastor, she shouted. The music stopped. Everyone turned. Pastor, I have a question, the woman said, walking down the aisle. She was older, maybe 50, with a hard face and sharp eyes. Sister, please wait until after.
No.
I need to ask now. She stopped in the middle of the aisle. Is it true you've been sleeping with a young girl in this church? Gasps rippled through the crowd. James's face went white. Sister, I don't know what you're talking about. Her name is Ada, the woman continued. She's sitting right there.
She pointed at me.
Thousands of eyes turned toward me. I didn't move. This is a lie, James said, his voice shaking. A vicious, baseless lie meant to destroy this ministry. Then why does she have recordings of you? The woman shouted. The church exploded. People stood, shouted. Phones came out. The ushers tried to restore order, but chaos was already spreading. Elder Samuel rushed onto the platform, whispering urgently to James. Other elders followed. And then Oziu appeared. She walked slowly onto the stage, her face unreadable, and stood beside her husband. The crowd quieted. Is it true? She asked him.
Her voice was calm. Too calm.
James grabbed her arm. Oziu not here. Is it true? She repeated. Louder. He said nothing. She turned to the congregation. My husband and I will address this privately. Please, everyone go home. Service is over. No, I said. Everyone turned to me. I stood up, my legs shaking but my voice steady. He needs to confess. Here.
Now.
In front of everyone. Ada, sit down. Elder Samuel barked.
Why?
So you can cover this up? So you can pay me off and pretend it never happened. You're carrying this child, someone screamed from the crowd. The church erupted again. James stumbled backward, shaking his head. She's lying. She's mentally unstable. I have proof, I said, holding up my phone. Voice recordings. Messages. Photos. Everything. Silence. Oziu looked at her husband. Show me your phone. Oziu.
Show me your
phone. He hesitated too long. She slapped him. The sound echoed through the sanctuary. Then she walked off the stage, down the aisle, and out of the church. The crowd was screaming now. Cameras flashing. People crying. Some rushing toward the stage. And James stood there, frozen, his empire crumbling around him. I walked out into the sunlight, my heart pounding, my body trembling. I'd done it. I'd burned it all down.
But that wasn't the end.
3 days later, I woke up to find my door broken open. My room was destroyed. Clothes ripped. Mattress slashed. Walls spray painted with words. Whore. Liar. Homewrecker. I called the police. They came, took a report, and did nothing. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. You should have taken the money. Then another. Leave Lagos or we'll make you. Then another. Your mother's address is 12 Obit Street, Enugu, right? My blood ran cold. They were threatening my mother. I called her immediately. Mama, you need to leave the house.
Now. Why?
What's happening? Please, Mama.
Trust me.
Go stay with Auntie Ngozi. Don't come back until I say. Ada, you're scaring me. I'll explain later. Just go. She agreed, reluctantly. I sat in my destroyed room, surrounded by ripped fabric and broken glass, and felt something shift inside me. Not fear.
Rage.
That night, I dreamed again. But this time, I wasn't in the village. I was standing in Glory Throne Church, alone. The pews were empty. The lights were off. And my father stood at the altar. You've started the fire, he said. Now let it finish. I don't know how. He smiled. Yes, you do. You've always known. He handed me a torch. You carry the blood of priestesses, Ada. Women who called down lightning. Women who spoke to the dead. Women who brought justice when men failed. I'm not like them. You are exactly like them. The torch burst into flames in my hand. Burn it all, he whispered. Let the spirits do the rest. I woke up with a plan. Not revenge. Something deeper. Justice. I contacted a journalist. A woman named Chioma, who worked for one of the big newspapers. She'd covered church scandals before. I have a story, I told her. About Pastor James? Yes. And you have proof? Everything. We met the next day. I gave her recordings, messages, photos, testimony. She recorded a 2-hour interview with me. Asked hard questions. Didn't coddle me. This will destroy him, she said when we finished.
Good.
It might destroy you too. People will call you names. Blame you. Harass you. Let them. She studied me for a long moment. You're braver than you look. I'm angrier than I look. The article came out 3 days later. Front page. Full exposé. Photos.
Quotes. Timeline.
Everything. Megachurch pastor caught in affair with young member. Church leaders tried to cover it up. It went viral within hours. News stations picked it up. Social media exploded. Hashtag Pastor James Exposed trended nationwide. Glory Throne's membership dropped by half within a week. Sponsors pulled funding. The elders issued a statement distancing themselves from James. And Pastor James himself went into hiding. But OZU gave an interview. She sat in front of a camera, calm and composed, and said, I've known about my husband's affairs for years. I stayed because I thought I was being a good Christian wife. Forgiving. Long-suffering. But I was wrong. I was enabling him. And I'm done. She filed for divorce. The church collapsed. But the story didn't end there. 2 weeks after the article, I received a package at my door. No return address. Just a small wooden box. Inside was a carved figurine, an old woman holding a baby, and a note in handwriting I didn't recognize. Your father's work is not finished. Neither is yours. My hands shook. That night, I dreamed of the shrine again. But this time, it wasn't burning. It was rebuilding itself. 1 month later, I gave birth to a baby girl. I named her Nneka. Mother is supreme. She had my eyes, my father's nose, and when she cried, it sounded like thunder. The nurses said she was unusually strong, that her grip was tight for a newborn, that she didn't cry like other babies she commanded. I held her in my arms and whispered, "You came from fire. You came from truth. You came from women who don't break." And I swore, right then, that I would teach her to never bow to anyone. James never acknowledged her. He disappeared from public life. Some said he moved to Abuja. Others said he went abroad. I didn't care. I'd already won. Not because I destroyed him, but because I refused to disappear. Years later, people still ask me if I regret it, if I wish I'd taken the money, stayed silent, protected the church. And I tell them the same thing every time. I didn't destroy the church. I exposed it. There's a difference. Because fire doesn't destroy everything. Sometimes it clears the ground, so something new can grow.